All right. This is just a real quick annotation. My annotation has lots of circles and underlines. If I was taking a little more time, I definitely prefer my highlighters and stuff. Big fan of those. You can see them a little better too. So the first thing I marked is he, right? I'm like, this is our, not necessarily our narrator, but I guess our main character. And it says he was very young. Based on his actions, I was like, maybe he's 5, right? 5 or 4, like I was taking guesses. And then I bracketed, you are not a dinosaur, you are a human being. And I just put Dream Crusher beside it. Like, someone's really annoyed at her kid. And as opposed to like praising his imagination, she's like, stop it. So then his dad is like, what do you want to be, since we won't let you be a dinosaur? So fireman, policeman, soldier, some kind of hero. All of these like super masculine, super like traditionally tough physical jobs. And then he was good at math, so maybe he'd be a math teacher. They said that was respectable, and I wrote respectable as opposed to what he likes. Like, is this the main way we're supposed to choose a career, based on whether or not it's respectable? Or alternatively, that makes a lot of money. Like, apparently that's how we're supposed to choose careers according to the people he was listening to. So he became an accountant who forgot things. I circled all this forgetting. There is a lot of forgetting going on in this last paragraph. So I put all the forgetting. Is this age? Is this dementia? And no, I didn't write it down. Or does he just not want to remember? It says, though, that he forgets important things. So I think maybe he would want to remember those, at least if he truly considers them important. I did not put any commentary on it. But what I'd like to do now is highlight the difference between how differently people annotate from one another. This is me and like with a pencil trying to get the main points in my head of what I'm thinking. I definitely have an interpretation for the ending, but I'm not talking about it yet. So I want to see your annotations. Who's brave enough to put Elmo? Okay. Let's go. It goes like this. You'll see if it's upside down.
Wait, what do I do? I highlighted the purple is when people were telling him what he should or shouldn't do. So like when his mom was telling him he can't be a dinosaur, and when all the teachers told him he should be an accountant based on his tests, and pretty much it's like because of all those people telling him what to do, he ended up doing something he didn't love. And then also highlighted that everyone said dinosaur because that's the title.
Someone else willing to point out one or two of your annotations?
No, I do.
But I can get 5 volunteers. Yay, thanks, Ashton.
All right, so you do. Okay, so what I interpret is that the story of somebody with I highlighted everything that you forgot and what you first forgot. Or no, this is and yeah, everything you forgot and it's both predictable.
Thank you, good sir.
Good stuff.
Keep it simple. All right. Do you have another one?
I think we should go over here in the right, Mark?
Does anyone else have a different emphasis that you don't think is Alzheimer's or dementia? Anyone think that maybe? Well, then come show me your annotation and we'll see it.
Oh, yep.
I do think that this kid is basically told how to think. I mean, that's there. Whether or not you consider that trauma, I mean, it can be, right? Like, that's entirely possible. You can be traumatized by your childhood of being forced to think a certain way as how your brain actually works. Yes, sir.
I don't think it's kind of not only forgetting that stuff, you continue to pick up the garbage and put it getting on. That's like my dead grandpa had all kinds of that was all what was going on.
Oh, definitely. 100%. She would hide the silverware. But she was afraid everyone was going to steal it. So, like, if you wanted spoons to eat cereal with, you had to go, like, dig them out of the couch or wherever they were. Like, that's hilarious, but also, like, horrifyingly sad. Terribly sad. But over the years, students have had alternate interpretations of this. Does anyone think that something different happened at the end? So you said, oh yeah? Come on in. Let's go. You don't think that he died at the end? He walked to the water and blinked his eyes into the light.
In the bright sunlight.
Ah.
How do you watch bright sunlight?
Says he forgot what his mother had told him. He forgot he was not a dinosaur. He stood blinking his dinosaur eyes in the bright sunlight. So when you think about dinosaur, I mean, we're not taking this literally, right? Like, none of us are taking this literally. So then what does dinosaur eyes mean? Like, just the idea of being ancient, right? So the bright sunlight and the familiar warmth.
Wow. Gee. Okay.
I mean, considering the rest of it, I mean, no, I get you. When I see words like familiar warmth and bright sunlight, I think we can associate those with the idea of heaven or a bright light here. So it is entirely possible and a totally legit interpretation to say that we think maybe he passed away, right? And when he did pass away, he was happy. Other people say he didn't necessarily return to a childlike state where he was happy, and that's really all he remembers. So up to you to kind of decide what you think of each of those. So just by a show of hands, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can turn this around on you. I don't know if I can. It's like, get help. Thanks, computer. I appreciate that. By a show of hands, how many of you think the first interpretation? He is essentially succumbed to dementia or Alzheimer's and is lost in his own head. Raise them high. Raise them high. So about five here. How many of you think that he did die at the end here. That this is passing on. So you're saying it's both, huh? Right, raise your hand up high if you're like, this looks like a pretty accurate representation of death, a peaceful death at that. Okay, hands down. So for those of you who have not voted, what happened? So it's literal. So has he returned to a childlike state, or is he choosing to be a dinosaur after all these years? Is this a choice, or is this unconscious? You know what I mean? Which? That begs a great question, and I'm going to do another poll then. How many of you think this story is ultimately happy or optimistic? Dark? I mean, there's bright sunlight. Happy or optimistic? And why? And on his own terms, right? He's like, I'm a dinosaur. Nobody gets to tell me what to do anymore. I mean, if you think about it that way, at the very least, it's peaceful, if not necessarily happy. And if it is happy, then come out enjoying being a dinosaur. I'm not saying there are like a bunch of silver linings to dementia. I don't necessarily think that that is true. But if I think that he is happy, and it suggests that he is, with that familiar warmth in the dragonflies, then good for him, right? How many of you would say ultimately this is pretty sad and maybe a little dark? Ultimately, this is a sad story.
It's not me.
Anytime you say something, you got to be able to back it up with specific things in the text, right? All right, we're gonna leave that there for the day.